Oklahoma State. This is my 7th year. And, I mean, I can't tell you how many games just like that, we've been in. Sometimes, we've been on the other side, so I understand what the other locker room feels like. But I'm sure proud of our kids. The fight they showed multiple times in the game when Cincinnati made runs twice in the first half, and they're late when we lost the lead. Thought we just continued to knuckle down and trust each other, and obviously came out with a hard-fought win. So really, really proud.
Coach, your team offensively has been really good the last 2 games. Is there anything that's changed, or is it just the nature of a young team that's starting to come into its own?
It's mostly a young team that's learning how to have success at this level. We got very few guys who've been at the collegiate level. I mean, 3 of our top scorers were freshmen tonight. Those guys didn't know what this was like. Not just November, but I'm talking about in January when we get into this conference, and every day you got to bring it. But then you got veterans like him who've been through college basketball, but even playing at this level, right? It's taking some time for him to adapt to, and just really proud of their ability to stay committed to our staff and to each other, because noise is rampant these days, and when we start off 0-6, the noise gets louder, and if these guys don't trust each other, don't trust us, they can get off the rails really quick. And I think over the last couple of games, you've seen us a team that's still sticking together and fighting for each other.
A lot of teams would be pretty intimidated going at Aziz Bendego, Jamil Reynolds. Your guards really attacked aggressively. What did you see from them that led to such a successful night offensively?
Yeah, I think, again, Javon leads us because he has such a great amount of courage. He believes he can make plays sometimes that I wish he wouldn't take chances maybe. But at the same time, you need that. You need to have supreme confidence to have success in this league. And, I've told him from day one, I'm going to ride with him. And, it's not going to always go well. We just got to, when it doesn't, we can't get discouraged. And so tonight I thought we played with great force, put those guys in some foul trouble, and then allowed us to be the more aggressive team as we were able to get to the free throw line late.
Javon, you're familiar with Cincinnati. Was that a help of any kind tonight, knowing the way that they were probably going to defend you, or how you were able to score?
I feel like my first 2 years. Well, first off, I'm happy to get a win here finally. My first 2 years, I came in and lost, but I'm familiar with the Cincinnati program, familiar with kind of offense and defense they run. So I feel like it was just something I was used to. But yeah.
Fans will look at records and say, well, that team must not be any good. But in this league, that is absolutely silly. I'm sure you guys get tired of hearing it. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 7 years, man. My 6 previous years, Bob Huggins was the head coach at West Virginia. He finished last twice. I think people around here think he's a pretty good coach. I think he's a very, very good coach, one of the all-time greats. But I think it shows the quality of depth each year that a Hall of Famer can put together a team and go through this league and be 10th out of 10. And we've been fortunate that we've had some success, but everybody goes through real battles. I think the league does help prepare our teams as we get the postseason, but it doesn't help you sleep well as a coach, thinking about how you prepare for the next opponent being as difficult as the one you just finished playing against every single game.
Javon, how are you able to help keep this team together in the locker room? You start 0-6, it can go the other way quickly, but you guys have fought hard and continued to battle and seem to be playing your best ball here as the season, comes to a close.
Well, first off, I just think that we're tired of losing. We got tired of losing pretty early, even though we started off 0-6. But I feel like everybody just has that belief that we can be a good team and we will be a good team. So I feel like, with everybody just believing that, we'll be a great team that sticks the locker room together.
Fine, Coach. Williams had a very solid game. Having a guy like Javon on your team and then having Williams step up like he did tonight. How important was that for today's win?
Yeah, Q's one of the few guys who've kind of been through this league. And to be perfectly honest, if we were playing this game last year when he was a freshman, I'm not sure I would have felt comfortable even putting him out there. But going through it one time and seeing it and practicing against it, and now being one of the guys with some experience, he's a guy that we count on both ends of the floor. He guarded Seamus for quite a bit of the game. Even on that last possession, didn't let him get the corner turn to get an easy basket. He's a warrior. He's a guy who stuffs the stat sheet. flirting with a triple-double is not something you often see from a guy who's not a top-of-the-scouting report guy. He's not. But he believes in his value to our team and doing a lot of little things to help us have success.
Coach, you guys hadn't won a true road game all season. You come into this environment, raucous atmosphere, team playing for March Madness contention. What are you telling your guys to prepare them to say that you actually, like, you can win the big game on the road?
Yeah, we've gotten a little bit better in each of our road games, and obviously played against, in our last road game, played at, in Oklahoma and led for most of the game and came up short. So what I try to focus on is the process. Are we getting better? And even in losses, as a coach, you got to try to find those things to continue to help you guys understand that you don't just quit when it doesn't finish the way you want it to. And credit to these guys that they've continued to believe in it. We've continued to preach the same message that you keep chopping wood. Eventually, you'll break through. And I'm glad to see these guys reap the benefit of that commitment for over the course of the season so far.
You had some familiar faces in the crowd tonight. Does that help you at all? Seeing some people up there pulling for you?
40 plus was the number I heard, somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah, it's always good coming back at least close to home, playing in front of my family. Past few years I haven't played, or I've been away from home, so I haven't been able to play at home besides Cincinnati. But it's always good to see my family in the crowd.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.